what must be a sigh of relief for Implats, Zimbabwe ministers have said the country would not suspend any mining permits and that exceptions may be made to laws requiring foreign miners to give majority stakes to locals, bringing relief, but no clarity to a policy that has alarmed investors. Of course, the regulation that we could see come to the fore, 51% local equity stake is what multinational companies should be giving to local investors. Implats, with a market cap of 106 billion rand, a dividend yield of 3.4% and a PE of 14, and it's now under the spotlight. Are you convinced? Are you breathing a sigh of relief? We actually had Implats gaining around 3% in today's session. Of course, it was futures closeout, so at the end of the day, it was a strong day overall.
Yeah, certainly. I think if you look 2-3 days back before this announcement came, Impala were trading at about 154 at that stage, and I think that was when everybody was expecting their license to be withdrawn, etc., etc.
And now it's at 169.
So probably a nice buying opportunity long-term wise, if you believe that management would have done their job better than some of our other companies locally.
You're not going to divulge.
I'm hinting towards some other companies. So yeah, I think 154, 155, probably a nice opportunity to pick up some stock. Nice company. If you look forward, it's probably sitting at a P of about 11 and a dividend yield of about 4 for the next of the year, in 12 months' time. So if everything stays the same and the currency weakens a little bit more, you might see some even lower Ps and better dividend yields. But certainly not the times it had over 5 years back when platinum were pumping and prices were pumping as well. But you're also struggling with cost at the moment. Some of the gold mining issues coming through to them as well. But certainly a better sector to be invested into as towards the other metal in South Africa.
And Travis, I mean, from a a trader's perspective, in fact, platinum miners have actually been significantly underperforming the market since the beginning of the year. Yeah, and here you've got a scenario where, I mean, Gerbrand said if management did their job properly, but perhaps it's not really up to management because regulations change so often in Zimbabwe and rhetoric around the regulation changes. I mean, can you actually get clarity on something that is completely out of management's hands most of the time?
Well, that's what's holding the stock back, and a lot of guys are looking at the other resources. You're better off with the BHP Billetins and the Anglos and the other resource stocks, and that's a major concern that we have with Implats. I mean, even going back to the price 2 weeks ago, it was trading at 181 or something. Then we went down to 150, and now we're trading at 169. But a lot of volatility in that stock, and it's obviously making investors scared. And a lot of guys are saying, I'd rather step out. I know a lot of technical traders are actually waiting for 190. So if it breaks above 190, they'll actually look at buying it because that's a major level.
A bullish level.
Yeah, a resistance that it needs to get through. Once it gets through 190, we're going to see a big surge up to 225. So I know a lot of traders that are sitting on the fence and just letting this thing play out between 185, 155, and from a trading point of view, it's a very, very difficult stock to trade right now. And for my money, I have got guys who are in it and who are buying it at these levels because of this whole Zimplat thing that's going through. But I'm quite cautious over it, and I actually put money into other resource stocks. Because
the diversified miners, as you alluded to.
Exactly. Just
for the long term, or are you trading them?
I'm still looking at the long term. I still look, I mean, Anglos at around 270 will always be a great buy for the long term, but I always buy, on a trading short-term spectacle.
Gerbrand, your view on that rhetoric? I mean, at interesting levels, if we do, I mean, obviously, it will look far more expensive down the line if you are going to wait for those technical levels, as Travis alluded to. But what about value traps? Any concern there?
It all depends on what happens to the currency and the platinum price as a whole, and if the world goes into another recession, as you hinted earlier today, then you're going to have, of course, less demand for platinum. I'm a bit more bullish on the platinum side. I think it's my favorite metal at the moment. I don't like gold at the moment. I think it's overbought long-term wise. There's a lot of speculators in gold price as well. So I'm more positive on the Impala side. We own some of it as well. We've been picking up stock at lower prices as well. And we 75% of the world's platinum resources in South Africa and in Zimbabwe. So there's not many platinum stocks out there. So it probably should trade at a premium to against something like Anglo or Billiton or etc. So it's probably... I'm
glad you mentioned that because we've been waiting for this for quite some time. So that it does trade at a premium, and we're seeing platinum prices actually trading at a discount to gold. We're seeing a lot of changes occurring, and some say that all the negative news has already been priced into the platinum price, and then you've got costs escalating. Something's got to give. Or are we looking at a scenario, Travis, where we could see the platinum miners landing up like the gold miners, where you've got costs just overtaking everything?
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to get to that extreme, but it's trying to looking at mining platinum and mining gold. Obviously, going back to you know, gold's traded on a much safe haven demand scenario, whereas platinum, you can get more value at. I mean, you like platinum as you were saying you like platinum as your favorite commodity. I more look at copper and more on the Chinese demand for it and the increase in demand, and that's why I guess I look at those diversified mining houses. I also look at Meterex on you know, for that, but I tend to just...
Do you hold Meterex right now?
I actually do, and I'm waiting for that deal coming through in November. So, you know, with the Jingshao consortium buying it out, and I am very, very bullish over Meterex at the moment, and copper in general. So it's just, it's a difficult market, and it's very difficult to pick these mining stocks. If you look at them, they're all trading pretty much discount, and they look pretty good, but you've got to be careful.
Okay, so hot or not for you, Travis?
I would pick it up cautiously, so I'm going to say lukewarm. I've been not hot.
You would pick it up cautiously, so
no, I'd stop buying it. And when I say cautiously, I'd buy in smaller values.
Okay.
So I think at these levels they offer value, but I'm still waiting for that 190 breakout, and I think technically I'd look for that level, but at these levels I'm still buying it, but not as much capital that I would normally buy.
Gerbrand, hot or not?
I'll go for hot.
Hot.
Yeah.
Buying at these levels,
Certainly.
allocating new money.
Certainly.
Very decisive there. Information Communications and Technology Group Datatech expects half-year headline earnings per share to be more than 33% higher than the previous comparative period. Headline earnings are expected to be between 19 and 20 US cents. Revenue for the 6 months to August is forecast to be around $2.4 billion, up from $2.1 billion previously. The results are due out next month or so. Gerbrand, let's start off with you. Datatech, I mean, just a trading update, but an interesting company.
Yeah, certainly. I think they got about 40 countries which they do have operations in. Some of the bigger operations is Westcon, Logic Calls, and then some analysis company in the ICT space. These earnings were probably expected to be like this. We know this company did about R3.20 3 years back. Its earnings dropped away. So out of a normalized headline earnings per share point of view, you should have probably picked up the share at 22 Rand already, and probably looking at being
I hope that's what you did, Gerbrand.
We had some, I think we sold at 30 and they're sitting at 39. So we were happy with what we made out of it and we got out. But I mean, if you look at today's, it's about R1.40 for the half, R2.80 for the full year. That puts it at a PE of 13-14. They got a lot of Cisco brands in there, etc., etc. I just think if you want to buy a big ICT company, you can probably do much better in the US space buying Cisco directly or Microsoft directly or so forth. I think their price multiples are much cheaper, their dividends are better, etc., etc.
Travis.
Yeah, I looked at it, I like it. We do buy it. I tend to trade more and buy on equity space more in EOH. I've had success with that, and I know the company a lot better than this. I like the fact that the group announced that the dividend, there's a new dividend payment policy going from one final dividend to an interim plus a final, so that's breaking up the dividend, which I think from an investor point of view could be quite attractive. They've got a new forecast dividend. I think it's 88 cents now. I think their forecast dividend going forward is about 95 cents. So that, you know, there's a like, you know, you've got exposure internationally. I like the fact that you can buy. It's almost like a rand hedge. But for me, I tend to trade EOH.
Hot or not?
I think it's hot.
EOH, okay. So
no, I still think this is hot. I think the target price would be 46 Rand for me, but I think EOH is my stock.
Not hot for you. Hot
was at 20, not anymore.
Okay, hot stock picks. Travis, your hot stock pick is AVI.
Yeah, just like the results that came out. AVI, we bought some a couple of days ago at about 32.50. It's trading around 33, 34 at the moment. I think it's performed well. It's a good combination of consortium groups, as you call it. I like the fact that they're looking to take away the Denny mushroom business. I like the dividend yield of 3.8, and it just appears attractive. It's based on good performance. It's a defensive stock in nature, which I think is a good thing to be in if the market's going to roll off, and you're going to see a pullback on this market. And I think it's trading on a forward PE of 12 times, you know, its value. So I think there's some nice things in the stock.
So allocating new money to AVI?
Yeah, I think there's good money in it, and I would put a target price on. I think around 40 would be my target price from where it's currently trading.
And now time for Gerbrand Smit's
hot
stock pick. Drum roll, please. There we go.
I think he's picked this one before. So
I picked it the previous time on the show as well.
And you've picked it again now.
Pick it again. Sasol. We know that they got great technology.
And doing more in the US now, actually. We've actually heard more
I think there was a story yesterday that they're looking at gas
feasibility
to liquid.
studies.
The technology and IP on the gas to liquid and coal to liquid is just amazing, and I think they're going to have much more demand for that going forward in other countries as well. It's trading at a 10p, they're upping their dividend. There's still a 9 Rand something dividend in the share price at the moment. So at 340, probably looking a bit stretched after the last 2-3 days. It was 315 2-3 days ago. So I would probably look to pick it up below 330 with the dividend included.
Fantastic. And hot or not for you for AVI, very quickly?
Yeah, I'll go hot.
Hot.
I'm hot on Sasol's.
Are you hot on Sasol
dividend
too?
of 9.90 Rand, I like it. I think it's a good stock.
So lots of Hot Stoxx this evening. That's what we're looking for. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me. Great to have you on the program. A big thank you to Travis Robson from Global Trader and Gerbrand Smit from NEFG Fund Managers. From me, Eleni Jakos, thank you so much for joining us.